Hello, this is Kenny. Welcome to lesson 27. In 1756, the composer of the next piece I'm going to teach was born in that house in this little city called Salzburg, Austria. And you can still, if you go to Salzburg, it's a wonderful little place to go visit. You can still visit the place where Mozart was born. And the piece that I'm going to teach you today is probably his earliest known composition. Mozart was a child prodigy, okay? And he wrote his first symphony at the age of 8 years old, believe it or not. But this piece that I'm going to teach is the first known piece. It was written in 1761 when he was a little boy of 5 years old. Okay, I've shown this picture before. It's Mozart. He was taught by his father, but Mozart and his sister and his father. It's just a painting, but that's the oldest painting that we know of little Mozart. Now, just to clear something up, the piece I'm going to teach is called the Minuet and Trio. Now, I've taught minuets before. They're a little dance in 3/4 time. But what is this thing called a trio? And in music, it can mean many things. So I just want to clear this up a little ways. All right? In the form that we're using it today, it is just the minuet plays, and then this little miniature thing in the middle plays, and then the minuet comes back. It's just a little ABA form. It's the B section. And originally it was written for 3 instruments, but then it just came in to be meaning just play this in between the minuet. Play the minuet, play the trio, and then play the minuet again. But the trio can mean other things. It can mean a piece of music which is played by 3 people, or even more commonly, it is a group. This is a group, a Canadian trio. It's called the Griffin Trio, and it's a 3-member group. A piano player, a cello player, and a violin player. And it could be any set of instruments. It could be a tuba, a trumpet, or trombone. That could be a trio too. All right? But it's not just in classical music. You see trios here. These guys, they're called the Police. That's a rock music trio, very famous rock music trio. So it could also mean 3-person band. Right? But in this context that I'm teaching today, it is just the middle section of a piece. Now, before I teach the lesson, as always, I will play it for you. Now, the minuet is probably the easiest part of this piece, although none of it is all that difficult. It's still at a grade 3 level. But as I said before, a minuet, all right, sometimes it's spelled with an E, a menuet. It just depends. It's the same thing, all right? But it's always in 3/4. This one happens to be in G major, as you can tell with that one sharp, that F sharp in the key signature. It's just a very simple melody. Do it with the right hand first. Okay, that's the first part of the minuet, and the left hand is just even easier. It's just okay, so when you put that first part together, it just sounds like this. Just keep it slow, stately. It doesn't have to go too fast. This is a dance. You don't want people falling all over the place. There are dances that go a lot quicker, but not a minuet. It is just to be stately. And just one thing I want to point out is the phrasing here. I don't usually put phrase marks in. You know, they matter to interpretation. But in this case, it just happens throughout the whole piece. Particularly this phrasing. Alright, whatever phrasing you pick, stick to it. Keep it consistent. But it's a very nice, elegant kind of phrasing that I have marked in on this one. Now, the second half of the minuet starts right here. It's almost the same. It's got some changes. The only really weird thing here is they've got a G sharp there and F natural there. But that only happens once, alright? So you don't have to worry about it too much. Now this is a little bit tricky for the fingering. I like to play it. Put your thumb there, your second finger like there, over. You could do it like this if you wanted to. Whatever's most comfortable. Write them all in for yourself, for your own use, you know. You can scribble all over the places. I remember when I was taking lessons, myself and my teacher, we would just use a pencil all over the place. Pencil marks. I still have scores from way back then. And there was just scribble marks everywhere. That's good. The left hand, very simple. Okay, so together that sounds like this. One last thing I want to mention here is these repeat marks. Each of these little sections, the first one and the second, can be repeated, and usually are. I just skipped that for brevity today, but usually it extends the piece out a little bit, and it gives a little more balance. It's not that much longer when you do those repeats. In fact, it actually sounds quite good. All right, so that is the minuet portion of the piece. Okay, on to the trio section now, starting up here. And now little Mozart at 5 years old, he wants to change keys on you, okay? He puts it into C major, so there's no longer the F sharp that was in G major. And it's similar melody. But the left hand's a little trickier. What he's done here is put a counter melody in the bass part. So you got to play it with your thumb, your fifth finger, and your fourth finger, and your third finger. Not too hard, because your thumb just stays on that G the whole time. You notice it's all G's, all the way down there. So it just sounds like this. Now Mozart decides to get a little trickier here. Okay, he's put these little 16th note runs in here. And he does it in both the right hand and the left hand. So you just play those together. Not too hard. The only real tricky place here is because you end up with this F sharp sitting here. I played it like this, starting with my thumb, which can be a bit tricky. If you want, you can play starting on your second finger, pass your thumb under. It's a little easier sometimes if that's what you're more comfortable, all right? But that is the first part of the trio. Now, the second half of the trio, he just adds a couple C sharps in here, nothing much. Okay, right hand very simple, left hand's a little strange. Again, there's a bass melody going on. Sometimes it sounds a little harsh. Get a kind of a crunch sound. it gives it that rustic feeling, like I like to call it, which the second section is quite famous for. And then, of course, Mozart does the same thing here. He puts those 16th notes in, left hand. So practice them very slowly. And then you'll get it nice and smooth. Now the last thing I want to mention is this little thing here. It's some words in Italian, da capo al fine, it says. And that actually translates to from the start to the finish. The capo actually means the head, from the head to the finish, from the start to the end, all right? Okay, so here it says the capo, so it just means, whoa, just jump right all the way back here to the start of the minuet. Okay, just jump right away, and you'll be right back into G major. And you go all the way back here until you get here and find that word, fine, all right? All right, you don't finish there the first time around, but the second time around you do. And then you are done. You had that ABA form. So what the capo is doing is it's telling you go back to the A section and play it again. All right, that was Mozart's Minuet and Trio when he was 5 years old. Thank you.